From the high plains of the Midwest, I bid you good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever your time zone might be. My nod to the late and great Art Bell. I'm Keith Sharp.
And I'm G. Dressel.
And we welcome you to Life After Life, a paranormal webcast where we talk about the paranormal, UFOs, or the unexplained. And the biggest question of them all, what happens when we die? Stay tuned.
I feel like I can just hear it because I can hear it, but I guess it is through the mic.
Hey, everybody. Sorry about that mix-up. Somehow we had duplicate shows.
It has been a mess trying to get Kelly on.
Yeah, it has been.
She's actually still not on yet.
Yeah, she still hadn't clicked on. So
okay,
hopefully
though.
she'll show up.
It's just been crazy.
Yeah, and if you guys can hear, hang on, let me shut that. You can't hear that?
I can
hear
you
guys,
it. Like,
okay, let's be quiet. Tell me, can you guys hear a motor?
Go to the comments. We have a comment.
Oh no.
Okay, well, I
okay,
really
could you guys
curious.
hear that? I'm gonna turn it on again.
Yeah, do a little.
Okay, we're gonna try this again. Sounds like someone mowing the yard, doesn't it?
Hey, Dean was just calling me.
Was he?
And then he hung up. He's like, "Oh shit, they're probably online." Okay, now turn it off.
You can hear it, right?
I can hear it now, but don't turn it off. I mean, yeah, I can hear it. Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
I thought it would just blend into the show.
Yeah. So we go, hopefully she's going to show up again tonight.
Do you think she watched one of our shows
and said, "Oh, there's no way I'm coming on"?
Well, I mean, we talked to her at 1:00 today.
Yeah.
She was like, watched it after that. I was like, maybe I should check into these guys. And then she's like, they're crazy.
So should I give everybody my fentanyl experience?
Yes. He took fentanyl.
I took fentanyl this weekend.
God. I was worried about
hang
it.
Hang on a second. I'm sorry. My voice is just like trashed, which I'm not sure. But anyway, so about the last 2 months, I've been having some health issues. I'll just go ahead and tell you guys with like kidney pain, what I thought was kidney stones, but
right.
I've been to the ER twice. They've done CTs, no kidney stones.
Ambulance.
Yeah, but I sent those guys home.
I know, but just saying the pain was really.
But the pain was that bad. Yeah, the pain was. Yeah, so this last weekend it was excruciating. So I went in, and so they did another CT, and they're saying that it's called mesentery pancreatitis, which is the fat surrounding the colon is inflamed. Is what that's what they told me last time. But I'm not sure if that's
just
what it
in
is.
Super pain.
I was in big pain. So they started me off of morphine. I'm still hurting.
Like bad.
So they go, okay, we're going to give you a shot of fentanyl. I was like, what?
Yeah. Wow.
No, nothing to worry. There's
Hi, Kelly.
Kelly's here. There's nothing to worry about. So we're doing, so they gave me 2 doses of fentanyl, 1 dose of.
This is what she hears. She's like talking about your.
Hi, Kelly, if you can hear this. I was in the ER. So they gave me 2 doses of fentanyl. They gave me 1 dose of morphine. Was still hurting.
And you're alive to tell about it.
And then they gave me IV push of steroids, like prednisone or something. And then they sent me home with prednisone. And guys, I'm still like right now, I got a heating pad on this chair. And if you listen, this is what you were hearing, okay? That's the motor, the vibrator on the back for my back.
That's not an Apache helicopter flying over?
No, it's not. But it feels like I've had kidney stones in the past and it felt just like that. And I thought, okay, for sure the CT is going to show kidney stones. It didn't.
Well, is this a testament to how important this show is though? I've been like preparing for the show.
I know.
You knew that you had to be here.
I knew I couldn't cancel it. Yeah. So I was like, I am hurting. I'm trying to get through this.
You're going to. It's going to be fascinating.
Yeah. And
let's bring her on.
And no painkillers. And let's bring her
Kelly,
best-selling author. Been on tons of TV shows, been in movies.
How do you
get she's coming on our show. Unbelievable.
How do you get the name Dr. Dream?
Hello, Dr. Dream. Can you hear me okay?
I don't think she can hear you. Is she muted?
Unmute. Hello?
Testing.
Yep, I can hear you. Can you see us? Hey, Kelly. Kelly, can you hear us okay?
I don't think she can hear us,
You
but
send her a private
you're
chat.
the technical guy. I'm so afraid that I'm not going to be able to ask her my questions, Keith. You better
Can't
fix
hear you.
this. 1 second.
I can't hear you.
1 second.
Can you hear me now?
Hey, is
I'm
it
going to work
on?
on my audio over here.
We're muted.
Kelly, can you hear us now?
I can hear you.
Oh my
Yes!
God.
I was like, is it?
Oh my God.
There were
my
so
God.
many barriers.
We've never had so much trouble getting a show together as this one.
We must be high vibe. Like we're just
Oh my God.
shattering
Yeah.
everything. I know,
think
but
that's
hey,
what
we're
it
here.
is.
We're here finally. Yeah.
I think it is high
I don't know.
vibes.
I don't know if you heard earlier about I got to take fentanyl for the first time in my life. And,
You what?
no,
What?
I've been having health problems for like the last couple of months.
No.
I took that.
Fentanyl.
I'm not saying Ozempic has anything to do with it. Maybe it did. I don't know. But ever since I started taking Ozempic, I had this bad like kidney pain. Thought I was having a kidney stone because I've had them before and they're horrible. Went to the ER. They did a CT, no stones, and they gave me 2 doses of fentanyl and 1 of morphine, and I was still hurting. And so I'm trying to get this figured. And they're saying it's called mesocentric pancreatitis, which is the fatty tissue, which I got plenty of that around my colon that's inflamed. And
Oh gosh.
so now I'm on prednisone, and so like,
But he must be in this show.
but
so
yeah,
he knew.
I love your stuff so much. It's like I'm going to get through the show.
Oh my God, bless you. Oh, I hope you feel better. Are you in total pain right this minute?
Yeah, a little. It's.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, he's fine, Kelly.
Let me share this. I got something I want to share with you.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
You're gonna love this.
I hope you love
This is for you.
What a cool studio you guys are in. This
Yeah.
is amazing. Wow, it's very fancy.
Let me find this.
This is a gift for you.
Okay, so I think this is the hot girl and the hot blonde in the car. Is you?
He's straight. He's a perfectionist. He's a maniac. He's worse than your pop. Hey, nobody is worse than my
Welcome to
pop.
Life After Life, Kelly.
What am I?
You guys, look at the girl in the car.
You didn't know Keith's a music fanatic, by the way. Historian.
And I'm
if you
pretty
will.
sure this is you in the car.
I'm pretty sure it is too. I'm a facial recognizer.
What?
I love it.
Big deal. So we'll have a little fun till her dad takes that T-bird away.
So fun till her dad takes the T-bird away.
Bye, guys.
Okay, so were you the hot little number in that T-bird?
I was that little number. Hey,
Oh.
wait a second. Is that the same actor that's in the Daisy Jones and the Six? I think that's the same actor.
I don't know.
Okay, somebody's got to look it up. That was Summer Dreams.
Yeah,
I think
Summer
it is.
Dreams.
I was
Yeah,
looking at that show going, wow, why is that guy so familiar to me?
Now, are you talking about the guy who played Dennis or the guy's playing Mike Love here?
The guy that I kissed.
Oh, that guy's in everything.
I think he's the same guy in Daisy Jones and the Six right
He probably
now.
is. Yeah. How was
That's so crazy.
Was he cool to work with?
He was cool to work with, and that we weren't supposed to kiss. That was like the director. The director told him to do that, and I was like, "Wait, I'm just driving the what? I'm going with it. I'm a method actress. I will go with it."
Yeah. How many takes did you guys do that? Huh?
I think I was a one-take wonder on that one.
Sure.
Yeah.
There was too much makeup that got smushed during that take, so that's funny, you guys.
How funny! But yeah,
that's hilarious. I'm blushing. You made me blush.
Well,
it's
good.
not a hot flash, I promise.
No, I watched that movie when it first came out because I was a big I'm a huge Beatles fan and a Beach Boys fan and old classic rock. And I remember waiting for that movie to come on, and I watched it live when it premiered. Yeah.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, I was in 1995. No, it was earlier than that, 1990, I think. Because I was living in an apartment
been.
back then.
I was 5.
Oh my God. I think it was like 91. You're
91.
I
Okay.
can totally place where I was when that came out.
Yeah, that was about. Yeah, that sounds right. But yeah,
A funny part of that before when we were rehearsing, they put my hair in those giant rollers that like Mrs. Roper or like the next door neighbor lady with the muumuu would be wearing.
right.
So they had me with a face mask on. I didn't have my makeup on, face mask and big old rollers. And they're like, this is the one you're going to be making out with in the car. This is the one who's like, they're like, and I'm like, hi, make a good impression here. Back to the makeup trailer. I guess.
How funny. How did you, I mean, and we'll get to dreams in a minute, but how did you cast in that?
Oh God, are you kidding? Back in the day when I auditioned for 500,000 things and I got like 1% of the things I went out for. So it was just one of those things that I did. Usually they were casting like cattle calls with thousands of blondes that looked just like me. It was very, very discouraging. I mean, you go
very
in
competitive, huh?
Oh my God. It's like so many. And it was interesting because my dad, when I stopped acting, my dad had just finished being the chief of police in Huntington Park, Los Angeles. And he's like, I want to do some acting. So he so everything he goes on, he gets. Because he's like this big, stocky,
that is wonderful,
crotchety dude that there's like 3 of him in Hollywood.
Right, for sure.
She's like, this is so easy. Why don't you get more jobs, Kelly? I'm like, Jesus, Dad.
Yeah, that's
just
wonderful.
Kick a girl. And then when he stopped, all his agents and people were all calling me. And I thought, oh, they're calling me. And they're like, can we get to your dad? We need your dad. He's done.
That is so funny.
Anyway, I thought you'd get a kick out of that. So
I got a kick. You brought me back to the scene.
You probably haven't seen that in 30-something years, huh?
You're absolutely right. Oh my God.
All right. Well, let's talk
crazy.
about
Thank
dreams. Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Guys.
Hey, I will tell you, the title of your book is legit.
Oh, the new one?
Yes. A crisis is a terrible thing to waste.
Okay. How so? What's the legit about it? Tell me, Garrett.
Well,
Garrett, tell us.
I'm actually real job. I work with student athletes. I develop players for sports and to go to college and play professional. So I was telling Keith, it's actually interesting because somebody we both know, Larry.
Yeah.
It's the baseball thing where, when baseball players are missing the ball, they say, man, I have to go hit. But when they say I get to go hit, they start hitting a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I read this and, started going through your work, I love that take on it because we're all going to go through crisis. I just think it's something that is so, it's out there for all of us to enjoy. So yeah, it's a great title. I just wanted to put that out.
Right. It makes it so it's not like I don't think we're ever going to be like, yay, I'm in crisis.
For sure.
I think there's always going to be like man, like
right.
I had these other plans. This isn't how I wanted it to go. I think it's going to always be that way, but we don't have to add insult to injury by resisting it and trying to push it away and blaming everybody about it. But if we're like, okay, I'm going to learn something. I remember reading The Road Less Traveled. I believe that was Scott Peck. One of the very first lines in his book was, wise people look at their problems as if there was something they seek to, instead of pushing them away, they seek to learn something and know that they're going to get better as a result of it. I'm totally butchering his quote, but that really that planted a seed for me. And I hope that my book plants, continues that legacy of planting seeds that we look for. We want to be wise. If we're going to go through something difficult, we might as well come out of it with a little wisdom and maybe some new resources
and be positive about it too.
Right.
One thing I can tell you this as an example. I was telling Garrett the other day, I've got 5 grandchildren.
What?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What?
I know I don't look that old.
Keith.
I contributed to 3 of those, 3 daughters.
Yeah, this is my
son-in-law.
Yeah.
Are you kidding? You guys are so cool. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I didn't know these things. That is amazing. Okay, keep going.
One of the things I learned from your book, to me,
This
a
is
lot of it
interesting,
too
yeah.
was taking bad situations, turning them into something positive. So I had all these kids over here for a sleepover on Friday, right? So I'm like, oh my God. And so the next morning I go downstairs, there's Skittles, there's popcorn all over the place, and I'm the vacuum cleaner, and I'm like, "Argh."
Just a little
and then I stopped and thought, and I said, thank God I've got grandchildren who love me that I'm cleaning up after, and that's okay because they want to spend time with me. They want to come to my house. And if I got to clean up after them, man, there's people that would love to have grandkids. And so it's like, so I took that as like, you know what? I'm happy. I started getting happy, vacuuming.
Yeah. The carpet got real clean.
Because the love you have for those kids is like,
That's
this is worth every bit of it. Worth every bit of it.
Right. Oh God, that is a beautiful, beautiful story, because there will come a day when they're going to be grown up and they're not going to be leaving Skittles wrappers, and you're going to be like, hey, want to come and leave a Skittles wrapper on my floor? I'll clean it up for you. They'll be like, no, I'm off to college.
I know.
Well,
yeah.
The thing that makes me sad, it almost made me cry, is someone said, there was a last time that you picked up one of your kids, like held them. And that's true. Think of
I'm gonna do it.
And you try to think, when was the last time I held my little girl?
For sure.
And it's like, oh my God. It's emotional.
This is a country song. It's a country song.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
To be
appreciating the stuff that we normally grumble about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Arielle Ford, she wrote Wabi Sabi Love. One of the stories is about this woman who's so annoyed at her husband for eating poppy seed bagels. And every morning she gets out and has to sweep the floor of all these like random poppy seeds. And then one day she stopped and thought, there will be a day when there's no poppy seeds to sweep up.
That's right.
And then just wept. And then she said, from now on, I'm just going to appreciate sweeping up those poppy seeds. I'm not going to bitch at him about cleaning them up. It's like, nope, this is my honor to clean up your poppy seeds.
And
well, like one thing we talk a lot about on this show is kind of getting on the same vibrations and being on the same level. I think what that did in that moment too, though, Keith, is like when you're picking up all those Skittles, all the girls saw that too, though, and they didn't see some grumpy ass. I'm not calling
they'd already left.
Okay.
They already left.
Because
I was thinking, I'm not touching it until everybody's out of the house, because it's just going to get worse, right?
I'm just saying, though, a lot of times when you change that perspective and you unknowingly have an effect on those around you and the environment around you, that until you realize it, it's interesting. That's all.
It is.
It's so true. And there's, from the place of being positive about things, this is one of the reasons why I like the Ogle formula, because sometimes it's hard to just find that positive thing. Sometimes we need to get the bee out of the bonnet, so to speak, to just say, I want to be in the O for what's offensive. This is a pain in the butt. Why didn't they clean it up? This is messy. I've got other things I wanted to do, and now I've got to stop and change my thing, and I've got to pick up all this trash. So it's okay to have a moment of grumbling about what's offensive. And then once it's out, then go, okay, what's good about this? Oh my God, my grandkids love being around my house, and they feel safe enough to be themselves. It would be awful if they were so prim and proper. Like, that would be worse if they felt so on eggshells. Like, that would say so much. And then the looking glass is, have I ever done that? Have I ever just left my stuff everywhere because I felt so comfortable? I've done that myself. And then the E for elevate is, my elevated action might be, like we said, when we see that trash, let's just remember it's temporary, and it's a result of these kids feeling so at home and so comfortable at grandpa's house. I'm going to be happy about it. Every time.
I love that.
And for my viewers, the Ogle, that's in her new book, The Crisis is a Terrible Thing to Waste. Yeah, fantastic tool. So that's what she was going through. If you get, I'll put a link to your book, by the way. And you got 10 books, right?
I do.
Yeah, I just bought the one, and I've been so sick. I'm sorry, I haven't listened to it yet.
No excuse.
But I got the Audible one on dreams.
Yes, it's all in your dreams. And P.S., A Crisis is the Terrible Thing to Waste will soon be out on Audible. We literally
Good,
just
because I'm a lazy reader.
finished the editing. I am too.
Do you read it? Because you have a great voice to read.
I did.
Yes.
This is the first
Oh my
audiobook. Thank you for
I was
saying
thinking,
that.
like, you have a great like reading voice. That's great. Awesome.
Oh, you're so sweet. Well, we'll see what you think. I really would love you guys' opinion. It'll be out soon. I don't have the date exactly, but the hard work has been done, and we just sent it in literally yesterday.
Good for you.
Should be out soon.
So how did this all start for you? I mean, I know it's such a cliche question, but for my viewers who haven't read your books, how did you get started with dreams, and what got you interested in that?
Well, this is not answering your question, but you just made me think of it. The clip that you played was called Summer Dreams. So that's funny. This was before I was Dr. Dream. So that's just kind of little. I think sometimes if we look in retrospect at our life, everything that seems so random all of a sudden starts to line up. So with dreams, the nighttime variety, my sister, who's younger than me, a year and a half younger, Shannon, she and I shared a bedroom growing up, and we shared a lot of tandem dreams, meaning that we were in the same dreams at the same time in the same locales.
But that is so interesting that you guys were actually sharing dreams together.
Yeah, we were very close, and we still are close, even though at this exact moment, not so much, but we'll come back around. But we're very psychically in tune with each other, and dreams were just one of the modalities that connected us. And that I think really got me excited about dreams as a kid, and more than the average kid. I think every kid is connected to dreams, but my sister and I were even more so than the average ones, I think. And then I became a certified clinical hypnotherapist when I was in my mid-20s, soon after the Summer Dreams days, as a way to recover from the acting, my time in Hollywood that just kicked my butt. It was such a grueling, it was pre-Me Too movement. So I was it was just rough. There's a whole book. Actually, I did write a book about it, and it hasn't come out yet. And it's a little darker, but it really lays the foundation for how I kind of got into therapy. And thank God I got into therapy, because I wouldn't have been long for this planet had I not gotten into 12 steps, shamanism, and hypnotherapy, and about every other spiritual mind, body, spirit type of medicine. I threw myself so hard into because I had to. And for a while, I hadn't been paying attention to my dreams because I was paying attention to the outer dream, making my inner life not so important as what my results were on the outside. And that was a recipe for disaster. So by the time I got into therapy, my dreams started to flood back, and many of them were very much on the spectrum of nightmares. And I had a therapist that told me, when I shared one of my big nightmares with her, she said, "Well, a nightmare is an unfinished dream. How would you like to finish this dream?" And I thought, well, isn't that cheating? And she said, no, it's actually a very well-documented, highly respected study. They call it IRT at Harvard and many other dream and sleep study locations around the globe, where you actually take a nightmare, and in your waking state, you imagine how you would finish it. And that does create some kind of a new neuro pathway and a sense of resolution. So I practiced that, and that was such a revelation to me.
It's fascinating.
So empowering that I became a hypnotherapist and started teaching this to my clients. And then that really sort of solidified and crystallized my path as somebody who's very passionate about dreams. And that led to books and finally led me to you guys.
And life after life. Well,
yeah.
So do you
life after life. Exactly.
With all of that, that journey that you're going through, in shamanism and hypnotherapy, and this spiritual journey that we're all continuing to be on, right? Did it start to really highlight what dreams were? Like, did you start to see any overlapping between, because we do paranormal stuff as well, right?
Great.
And so we've wondered a lot of times, can a spirit like enter into your dreams when we see past relatives? Would that not be a fantastic way to channel energy, or have you witnessed that?
For sure. I think this is such a, I mean, we could talk for years about this, but departed loved ones, I think, are often trying to get our attention, whether we're awake or asleep. It just seems to be one of the easier places for them to get our attention because we're a captive audience.
Yeah,
we can't run. The walls between the worlds are thin. So it's a prime opportunity for our departed loved ones to communicate with us. And so I think that's not the only time that they are, but it certainly is one. I think it more often than not, those dreams are visitations. They're not just abstract dreams to be decoded in the traditional way. I think they really, really are visitations more often than not.
Do you think we like? I know it sounds kind of stupid, crazy, but
do it. Nothing's crazy.
Okay,
not
so
here.
Is it a possibility we go into different dimensions, like when we dream?
Stupid at all.
Okay,
not at all.
Here's a dream that I will have these dreams. I was telling Garrett this is crazy.
Interesting, yeah.
Like I will see these people now in the dreams. I know these people. I know their history. I know the location I'm at. When I'm conscious, I have no idea who these people are. I have no idea where I'm at. But it was like it's so familiar to me in my dream.
Right.
Like I know these folks, but I've never met them in my life. It's just it's weird. I don't know how to describe it.
Well, there's nothing weird about it. I mean, I know it might seem strange to the conscious rational mind, but there's so much documentation with people like this. In fact, Carl Jung, the late great father of psychotherapy, he had a very stable reality that he would visit often in his dreams, where there was it was even kind of ordinary, where there was like a street on a residential block, there was a library, a grocery store. He had a family, all completely different and had no relationship to anybody in his waking reality. But he would go there often, and it's as if this parallel life was continuing. And to even go a little further, I think Robert Wagner, he's an expert lucid dreamer. He's had thousands of his own documented lucid dreams. And the first thing he does when he becomes aware that he's dreaming is he asks the person, do you have a reality beyond this dream, or are you just here to teach me something? And people will say, oh no, I'm a school teacher and I have a family and or some people will say, no, I'm just here as a symbol to get your attention, to tell you something. So I think it's not random at all, but my suggestion to you, Keith, is to do the best you can to document what you remember from those dreams.
Yeah.
To honor it, so that I think the goal ultimately is, as we evolve as a species, is to close the loop, close the gap between the afterlife part of us and this life part of us, the conscious part of us, the unconscious,
for sure,
and to bring it together in fusion. And I think these memories that you're having of these dreams are an attempt to bring it together. It's very special.
Wow. Yeah, I always wondered, like, I don't know these people. After I wake up, it's just weird. It's like,
well, I've been.
Why can't they just tell us what we need to learn instead of all these riddles?
Sometimes they do, but sometimes. But here's, you know what? Okay, and I hear you've got a question, Garrett. But let me just squeeze this in really quick.
Of course.
If you think about it, if the goal of our dreams is to communicate vast volumes of important information to us as quickly as possible before we space out, get distracted, wake up, whatever, one of the smartest ways to communicate is through symbol. For example, a door closing and a window opens. So those are some simple symbols.
Right.
But we could talk all day about what does it mean for a door to close? This is an opportunity that I thought was supposed to happen for me. And I put all my heart and soul in it. And why? Oh my God. But this window opens. That's random. Look at all the words it's taking me just to describe
For sure.
this concept. So a simple little symbol is like a packed bouillon cube full of information. And when we do unpack those simple little symbols, we realize, oh my God, our dreaming mind isn't just trying to fuck with us.
Right,
Excuse
right.
me, friend.
No, you're good.
It's
You're good.
it's trying to deliver volumes
Yes.
in an elegant way, actually.
Right,
if we
right.
could just receive it.
Well, and that's like the converse, and I think I maybe had shared this to you on the very first email I ever sent. Because I was like, dude, this is gonna be our best guest ever. I have to send the best email.
Oh my God, you're so sweet.
Well, we never had a bestseller.
My God,
well,
I love you guys.
I kind of lined out this little timeline of like reoccurring dreams I had throughout my life and these different events. And so my wife and I had been talking about it over the last week or so, because she, Cass is a very vivid dreamer. And we went down this rabbit hole because she was always saying, the last 48 hours, these, pictures you have in your head. And so I was wondering, like, if symbols are the best way to kind of get that message across to us so quickly, is it just our subconscious pulling from these images in order to like create a narrative? And then it's just up to us to kind of realize or understand how that best affects our path moving forward? Is that what the goal is?
Well, I think one of the best ways to unpack this is to talk about my jet set dream interpretation formula. So this might shine a little light on it, but I'll just try to answer your question more specifically. So sometimes the symbols that show up in our dreams are reflective of the things that are in our lives, the things that we've seen in our day, the things that we know about. But there are symbols that show up that people have no idea what these things are until they look them up, until they do a Google search, and they're like, where did this come from?
Right.
I don't know what this is. I mean, Debbie Weissman, a dear friend of mine, she's a dream work practitioner. She went through my training program, and we used to call her the dream snippet queen, because she had this one dream, and we got it published in my Chicken Soup for the Soul Dreams and Premonitions book. She had a dream one night about a cod piece. Do you guys hear me talking about this? Do you know what a cod piece is?
Yes. That's meant. Yeah.
What is it?
Ozzy Osbourne used to wear one. Basically, it's if I'm correct, it's like this big piece that goes over your crotch.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's from medieval times.
Right.
So it was like a piece of armor
Yeah.
that warriors would wear into battle.
You have to.
But
Yeah.
she had no idea. It was just
That's
the word cod
funny.
piece. So she literally had to look it up. Had never heard this before. I mean, she
Right.
might have in some setting, but she's not a heavy metal person.
For
She
sure.
was like she's a mom. She's a mother of kids that, she's not like that at all. But we thought, okay, so she brought it to our dream group, and we talked about, well, all right, so it's something that protects the genitalia. So first we had to unpack, well, what is the penis?
Right.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Like, the ultimate symbol of
For sure.
virility and potency, and like this dynamic energy that wants to do stuff and
Right.
that wants to be a part of life, and that is like creates life.
Right.
But this protects it. So all of a sudden she just broke into tears when she realized, oh my God, because she was very introverted, very shy. She said, my potency is so protected because I've been so afraid of getting hurt, that my most dynamic, virile energy is like shut down.
Yeah.
And so she started, as a result of that one dream, started to become less defended and more, hello, here I am. And now she's got her own dream podcast. It's called Dream Power Radio. And she's been on air now for several years, and she's as out there as a person could be. It's amazing. So anyway, it's about symbols that are in our consciousness, but when the dream symbols are very bizarre, very strange, and we don't understand why they're there, that to me equals extra importance, pay even more attention to those dreams, because that's kind of dream speak for saying, pay attention to me.
For sure.
Go down this rabbit hole. Did I answer your question at all?
You did. No,
Yes.
No, you absolutely. I thought that was a.
Do you know what the hell she was talking about?
Yeah, what the hell is Kelly? What's going on with Kelly over here?
Commercial break.
No, that was the
Kelly, my back is really hurting.
Yeah.
We're gonna go.
No, that was
just joking. No, very much
story.
so.
That was a perfect story. Well, it kind of leads to the next thing, which is like, okay, so we have these symbols in our dreams. Like I used to have this reoccurring dream. A tornado blew our facility away. And I lived with like 6,000 blue tiles in our house stacked for a couple of years till we moved. And so I kept having this reoccurring dream. I would climb to the top of the blue tiles and then I would slide down and wake up. And I would have it like every week. And then we moved to the facility, never had it again, right? And so my question would be like, sometimes we have symbols that we recognize. And I remember that vividly. But then I'm like flying through the air, which I would remember day to day reality.
Yeah.
I have a dream about that and I forget it in an hour. Like what? Does that make sense? So sometimes we have dreams that have these symbols that we recognize and they can stick. But then we're doing something like jumping out of an airplane, which we'll never do in real life.
What about
we forget it.
You're dreaming about you drowned all the time.
Yeah.
He had a recurring, he drowns in the dream.
Oh, wow.
What does that mean? I wonder.
Wow. Okay, so do you die or are you just like gasping for
that
air?
was during when I was at West Point, the United States Military Academy.
Wow.
So probably under a lot of Well, no, I'm just saying because it's under a lot of pressure. You're not sleeping well, right? But me and my friend who went to West Point, Larry, we were talking about this right before he came on the air, and he was saying we would take power naps. Like really intense, and actually we took classes to learn how to enter into those kind of really intense power naps. And but we'd have these crazy dreams. He was just telling me about his reoccurring dream. He doesn't die in his, lucky. But no, so I would be like trying to swim up, and I would never make it to the top. And at the very end, somebody would scream, "Wake up!" really loud, like a female, in my face, and I would wake up, and then I'd go to class, and then I'd come back, and I would dream it again and again for like 4 years.
Oh my God. Well, so if it were my dream, I just looking at it symbolically, drowning, if it's mine, might be a metaphor that I'm feeling over my head. There's like what's happening to me is bigger than I am. I'm drowning. Like sometimes we'll use these metaphors if we feel like there's so much that I'm up against. I'm trying to do. I don't get any sleep. I'm always feeling underwater.
Right. Heavy.
And I can't breathe. And then there's the bit of a reality check, like maybe because of the lack of sleep, there was something going on internally, like some sleep apnea, maybe where there's like, you're not getting enough breath. And sometimes we'll have nightmares like this to shock us awake so that we do breathe. I remember my grandma was having dreams that somebody was like choking her, and it turned out, she had sleep apnea, and those dreams would wake her up. So I think there's, we just have to look at that. And also there's the water element, which is interesting because maybe if it's my dream, if I'm at West Point and I'm doing all this stuff, it's a very masculine kind of a thing. It's like, don't feel your feelings, do the hard thing, get up, be a man. And meanwhile, what's being suppressed is the feminine element, which is often symbolized by water. So when there's imbalance, it's like what's suppressed must express. So what's being suppressed by day is the water, is the feminine element. So there's this drowning in it. So there might be.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Well, and I looking back at it, because I kind of drew out like a little timeline of these reoccurring dreams. I think one interesting thing is I am a twin. I have a twin brother. He actually passed away December 4th, of this year, right? But here's the thing: is we never spoke.
He was disabled.
We never spoke verbally.
Wow.
And so, but he like impacted all these people in his life. It was so crazy. Like even your sister, before I even knew Keith, the first time I ever came over to meet the family, she knew my twin brother, which was super weird.
My sister was a nurse and had taken care of his brother.
Like a decade
nursing
before.
home,
So weird. So I like had this recurring dream for like 7 years. I was just telling Kyle this 7 years where I would be incapacitated, like in a coma in like the 1890s, which is so funny. I'm like in this old cabin, but my family's around and they're like, everything I'm thinking in my coma, I'm saying out loud and they can hear it. And so, but before he passed away, I kept having these weird dreams. Before he passed away, I was telling Cass, I was like having trouble breathing the 3 nights before, to the point where the night before he passed away, I was like, hey, maybe I should wake up Cass. Like, maybe I should let her know that I'm just kind of having this trouble breathing, like, because I've never had it before. And then I was also having dreams that there was a funeral and he was involved in it for about the week leading up to it. And I kept telling her, I'm having this, like, it was kind of, I didn't want to say it because you don't want to say that about your disabled brother, right? Like, and he had just come off pneummonia and stuff. But
pneumonia. Oh my God. Pneumonia is when you're drowning in fluids.
Right. And you know what's weird is like at that time at West Point, he almost died of pneumonia and he was at a nursing home at the time. And that was very traumatic to me because nobody knew. It just had happened and so quickly. So yeah, I just thought it was interesting that those dreams,
very interesting.
but I never verbally spoke to him. So it's just something we've thought about. I've been talking a lot about it with my wife lately since you were going to come on. Is like, that's just such a weird kind of, when you look at it from that bird's eye view, is there something more there?
Absolutely. This is so special. I mean, in some way, this has got a little bit of connection to my sister and I having the tandem dreams. Because
I sat on it. I heard that earlier. I was like, oh man.
It's often a phenomenon among twins. My sister and I are 1.5 years apart, but I would say, you can't confirm it with him because he couldn't speak
for sure
in this language. But that doesn't, I mean, if you think about who we are 1% physical, 99.9% non-physical. So just because his physical self couldn't speak with words doesn't mean that he wasn't communicating. And the fact 100%. That you guys were twins, I mean, that's, I feel like this is you.
Well, and that was like a battle my whole life, was like trying to explain to people, like, I think he's communicating. He's communicating, even as a child. And then as I got older and more matured, I was like, oh, he's communicating. And I was a young kid, like 14, understanding that he's actually communicating
telepathically.
Well, nobody else knows either. Like, I can just understand that he's affecting people. So I started understanding, like, oh, that's a form of communication.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But the dream thing got me, dude. That's weird.
Wow. That is very special that you were, that you had those parallels. I mean, at the very least, it feels like you two have a connection that is beyond the body, which is obvious. You were connecting with him, with his dreams and what was actually happening with him. So I would imagine, because that connection doesn't end when the body ends. So I wouldn't be surprised if you continue to have some, I would be on the lookout for the dreams that you might be receiving from him in the place where he's at now.
Well, you have actually helped me. I had my first dream, I remembered, like yesterday. I haven't remembered a dream in forever since he died, I think, probably. And so, but since I've been studying for this, I'm like, I will have a dream tonight. It was the dumbest dream ever, dude. I was spraying.
Kelly's gonna get me.
Yeah, I was like spraying Febreze on my dogs. I was like, oh, this is the dream you gave me. So
you were spraying Febreze.
It was so weird. Yeah, but I had one.
We can work with that. Should we talk about Jet Set?
Yes.
Want to play? Want to try?
What is Jet? Yeah, I love the acronym. What is that actually?
So Jet Set. So J stands for just the facts, ma'am. So you just gave us that, which is I was spraying Febreze on my dogs. Is there any other details in the dream?
Yeah, there's a really weird one. Okay, I didn't want to I'll just tell you.
Go for it.
It was really weird. There's this little weird animal about the size of a chicken, and it seemed rubbery, kind of like a toy, but it actually had a personality, and it was walking across the carpet. And then my littlest girls were there just staring at it. And we were kind of like, oh, hey, little guy. And I saw my dog, Maggie, about to jump or come near it. And so then everything became slow-mo. Maggie slowly jumped over the chicken. And I just, with the Febreze, was like, shh. And then the dream ended. It was, but I remembered it. I was like, yes, it's the beginning of something.
That is the beginning of something, and we can work with that. Just like with Debbie's codpiece dream, she might have said like, "What the hell? That doesn't mean anything." But that dream changed your life, so you never know.
That's so true. That's so. God, that is so true. That cod thing is crazy.
So, all right. So you just gave us just the facts, ma'am. Give me so now the E is the emotion or the energy in the dream?
It was like really fun. It felt really good, honestly. And yeah, it was nice. It was nice. Like I mean, Febreze smells nice, you know, like I wasn't scared of this little weird animal that looked like a toy, but definitely wasn't. And it didn't have accepting colors either. It was like yellow and orange, and like it seemed kind of like it might bite you in the leg if it needed to.
I need to see a picture of this. I need you to draw a picture of this.
I will draw it and send it to you later. Yeah.
This is intense. I need to see this. Okay. So was there any, like, I'm just imagining if I'm in this dream, I might be nervous that Maggie is going to try to eat it. Was there any worry about that or no?
None at all. It was so playful. I was like, oh, it's Febreze under the dog's little fur.
I thought you meant like the dog was jumping up to jump onto it.
No, it was jumping over.
Okay.
Over it.
So it's like a playful thing.
Over it.
Just slow motion all at once. I see my little kids, my dog jumping over this weird little creature, and I spray it with Febreze and remember it to tell you.
Okay. So the T in Jet Set is for the title of this dream. If it were a movie, what would you call it? First thing that comes to you.
Oh my gosh. Playing with my kids in the living room.
Playing with my kids in the living room.
Because that's exactly what it felt like we were doing, just playing in the living room.
There you go. Skittles, wrappers, and all. Okay. So the standout symbols, I always suggest that you pick at least 2 or 3. So in this one, give me the most vivid, outstanding, or curious symbols or elements of this dream.
I think it would be the creature.
The creature.
And I think it would be the Febreze.
The Febreze.
And maybe the time of day, because it was like like just before evening time, the sun was coming. It was like just really comfortable, had nothing to do. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Cool. I was like, this is nice.
Okay.
weird little reptile thing, bird.
Okay. All right. And just for fun, I'm going to ask you about Maggie and your kid. Okay, so just a word. So you've already described the creature. You said it was kind of like a little toy, kind of like a little chicken. Anything else you want to say, like, about this thing?
Walk like a chicken. No, just it was tiny. Yeah, it didn't communicate at all. Just kind of was walking.
Okay. And Febreze. If I was an alien, had no idea what Febreze is, describe it.
It makes things smell fresh, like laundry and fabric, and I use a lot of it.
Oh,
I spray it a lot.
And okay, so it feels like there's this happy kind of thing. And all right, and then the evening, what's
early evening?
Early evening. Yeah. What's the nature of that?
I don't know. I think that's when I feel comfortable.
Nice.
It's like when everything is settled at the gym for the night. I don't have to worry about it. The kids are home and about to go somewhere. Everything's fine. We're good. You know, it's good.
Okay. All right. Very cool. And Maggie, the dog. What's the nature of a little dog? What's if I was an alien, didn't know.
Just loving, a little bit rambunctious, but respectful of space. Once you kind of say no, Maggie. So that was fun. It was like she wanted to touch the bird, weird reptile thing.
Oh, okay.
So she just jumped over instead. I was like, Maggie, you know. You silly doggy, kind of.
So the spraying, because sometimes people spray the dog like as a don't do that.
I've never done that in my life.
You've never done that. So
Ever.
This was just like kind of just to be playful.
Fun. Yeah.
Just to be fun.
It was just fun.
And what were the kids doing when all this was happening?
Just literally not saying or just smiling with big eyes.
Smiling.
Like this is all going down. So funny.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So next question. So the E in the Jet Set formula, the second E is for enlightenment. For example, like if every dream comes to us in the service of health, healing, and wholeness, in other words, enlightenment. Do you have any sense of what this dream might be how it might be trying to enlighten you?
I slow down now that I've talked to you through the Jet Set.
Slow down.
God dang it, Kelly.
God dang it.
That's right.
Darn those dreams.
No,
gosh.
Because it's funny how I was describing it to Kyle, because I'm like, then you got this dumb little bird. You know,
yeah.
Now that I describe it, I'm like, there were feelings to it though, right?
Yeah.
There are like these emotions tied to it that until you kind of reflect on it, I wasn't even thinking about that. That's interesting.
Oh, so then
You're something else. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So the last question is the T is for take
Mhm.
it to the street. So this is how will you activate this in your life? How will you do if every remembered dream requires some form of action in our waking reality, then what will you do to honor this dream?
I already had this answer locked and loaded like
All right.
about a minute ago once I started catching on to like, oh my God. And that is to really like enjoy that time on my dirty ass floor because I have tiny kids that throw food everywhere and not be so worried about, Maggie and the chaos of having little kids and dogs and just settle down and just enjoy it. Yeah. Like enjoy the sun, enjoy that. That's wild. And it was just a snippet.
That's so good. What are you getting, Keith? I saw you kind of.
No, I was just thinking the Febreze could have, because Garrett is a kind of a clean freak, and that could symbolize like I'm cleaning.
Well, it stresses me out. Like
I'm stressed, so
like
you're gonna smell.
I also can't say no, so now I have like 2 cats that like my kids. I have all daughters, by the way. So I'm
how many altogether?
3 daughters, and it's like a 13-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 3-year-old. So it's pretty diverse. Wow. And so, but I love the smell. When I walk in, I want it to be like, okay.
But like Garrett can't walk into a place. He starts picking up stuff. I mean, like if I'm at his house, I'll be talking to him as he's walking around the house, doing stuff, cleaning up. And I'm like,
it has to be in order. I'm just like my dad.
He's very ordered.
It's interesting. Oh, that's funny. And even the wordplay about order and odor and the Febreze being like this little, like a simple little trigger.
It really is. Yeah, no, that's interesting because it does feel like that things are more in order whenever I walk in and I have that trigger of smelling, like a candle. I love like the sandalwood. Anyways, or patchouli.
Yeah.
Give me that patchouli. But you don't understand what I was saying. Like, that's interesting.
It's also interesting because it's sometimes I think we can be triggered to get to be in that ordinary way of like cleaning is, we want to just like have things be orderly so we can feel together. But this was like a different kind of trigger. The trigger on the Febreze is like it triggers this kind of flowers and sunshine.
Yes.
And so it feels very special. And of course, I mean, part of the whole gig of being alive is that we forget and we fall into our ordinary way, and then we wake back up and go, oh, okay, let me be present here. These are moments that are precious. These are fleeting. It will not always be the way. What was that song? Was that a Dan Fogerty song about the dad? I'll be a lot like you, Dad. No, it's gonna be like you.
Was that Jim Croce? Cats in the Cradle.
Oh, dude, Cat Stevens.
That's not Cat Stevens.
No, that's not Cat Stevens.
Everybody thinks that.
Cats in the Cradle and the Silver Spoon.
Yeah. He did a lot of father-son stuff, if you notice, Cat Stevens. A lot of father-son songs.
Well, his song, Father and Son, is a great song.
Yeah, so it's similar. It's all similar, but this is about like, so as often as possible and give yourself a break for the times that you do get triggered to get into the default mode of like order and all that, because there's nothing wrong with that. Thank God you have that. You went to West Point, for God's sakes. But this might be like, wow. I mean, my dad, who was very much an alpha male, had all girls as well.
Yeah.
And it was often like, what the hell? But then he's like, it's kind of cool, but it's it causes you to have to stretch, and it's uncomfortable. So this little creature feels like, I'm just my last little feedback here, it's always the bizarre things that stand out the most to me, that feel like the most symbolic. So this was not a dog, it wasn't a chicken, it was something else that was a toy, it was real. So I don't know that we're going to get to the bottom of this dream here and now, but to me, that little symbol also carries a lot of wisdom, kind of like the codpiece in Debbie's dream. I feel like this is that. So is there anything else that comes to you now that we've talked about this, about why that symbol?
No, it's kind of funny.
Why now?
Yeah, like because I said earlier, I was like, I already had that answer locked and loaded about why I thought that was going to be important, what I'll take to the street, right?
Yeah.
But also what I had locked and loaded was the fact that I have no effing idea what that little bird thing was. And so now I'm like excited because it's like almost like you said, now I see it's like kind of like the linchpin to this entire thing, right? We've set the mood, we've understand kind of like what the awakening is, but there's always this piece to a dream that really, because I could forget about it right now. Like if I would have never talked to Kelly about this, I would have just not remembered it probably. Maybe I would have.
Yeah.
But I definitely want, like, this might pop up again in my dreams because we're discussing it, we're manifesting it, right? So I'm excited to go down that path.
Manifesting. Here's one more fun thing.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if we have time, but can we try one little thing?
Yes.
This sometimes when there's a really puzzling piece of a dream, this is one kind of a hack to be able to understand it. And it's to embody it, to imagine that you're it.
I can't wait to do this. I will send a video to you of me acting like this bird.
Let's do it even now. If you could, just even right now. Like, why wait?
Yeah.
Like, so just imagine for a moment, you might want to close your eyes and just let yourself imagine that because everything in your dream is an aspect of you anyway. So it's not such a leap to imagine that you are this sort of creature, this little yellowish orange chicken, teeny little toy. If you could embody it, what message does it have for Garrett? What does it want you to know?
Man, I think it would tell me to continue on my path. I do, because I didn't feel threatened by it. I feel like it was like really interesting, and I feel like I'm an interesting person. I feel like it knew where it was walking. It wasn't scared to go where it was going. It was just, it didn't care about me or my daughters. It didn't even give two shits about Maggie jumping over it. It just continued to kind of go on its path, and it was extremely unique. So I think that's what I would take from it.
Ooh, it's extremely unique. Oh, I love this. Yeah, and it's kind of walking to the beat of its own drum. It's not trying to be something else. And it's also a kind of a toy. It's kind of playful.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like me. Am I playful, Keith?
Yep.
Do you feel like I'm playful?
Very much. Yeah.
I broke his diving board last summer.
Oh my God.
There you go. There you go. Man, oh my God.
Fascinating, Kelly. That really is.
I think the last thing, and then we'll move on. Yeah. But there's something about like this little creature. Whenever, if it were mine, I might think whenever I get stressed or worried, this thinking of seeing life through the lens of this creature gives me a completely different perspective on life. Like the Carlos Castaneda, who is the shaman, he kind of brought shamanism to the Western world. He talks about this concept known as assemblage point, shifting our assemblage point. So we all have kind of a playlist of the way that we see things, the way that we ordinarily do things. Like when I come home, this is how I am with the kids. When I'm at work, this is what I do. When I think about the afterlife, the radio show, I'm going to be, this is what I do. Life after life, I'm going to do, these are the ways I do things. But then all of a sudden we'll have a dream that is so bizarre, and it literally gives us a different skew, a totally different way of looking at everything.
For sure.
And that is like an exit out of the matrix into a whole new neural network in our mind, and it's access to a whole slew of resources and a way to be that can end up making a huge difference. So I feel like there's at the very least, there's that.
Well, I don't know if this is weird or not, but whenever we were kind of like retracing the steps of that dream over the last like 5 or 10 minutes, I actually steadily started feeling way more relaxed. Like I felt like tingling in my chest, which I've been under, just a side note, and we can't talk specifics, but I've been under the most amount of stress you can possibly ever think about for somebody that like owns a company and is doing like trying to grow. And it's so crazy because I immediately feel like I just wanted to point that out to you, that because my wife and I were talking about the physical response to dreaming, because she's such a vivid dreamer that like there's been times she's woken up sobbing, and it's kind of crazy because she'll remember it. And I'm thinking like, dude, someone got murdered in her dream, and it's something completely random. She's just very empathetic, right? Yes. But she has a physical response to dreaming where I don't think I do. And so it was interesting that as you were kind of, dissecting and navigating through that dream, I actually had a physical response to understanding it. Just throwing that out there.
Amazing. And this is the magic of dreams, because this is how we exponentially grow and become more, in an expedited way, our higher, better selves. This is like this random resource that you stumbled on in this dream. That is, by the way, it's not just for you. It's not just for me. It's not just for Keith. It's for everybody who's listening. There's something in this. Whenever a dream is shared with people who care, the dream is medicine. It's medicine for all of us.
Well, and doesn't it make my kids' lives better too? Because I understand that now, and I'm like, okay, so in those moments, and I'm not gonna be like, hey, pick up your damn shoe. What are you doing? What are you doing with the shoe? I'm gonna be like, look at the shoe, like so that is.
This might even be the trigger. You're just gonna be like, where's the Febreze?
Yeah, let's get the Febreze out.
It's like such a great way.
God, Kelly.
Yeah.
See, I kept thinking when you said that, like, no, you're gonna mess up my house.
Yeah, no,
clean the dog.
Yeah, and I think maybe it was showing how silly that seems. Like, like in that moment, I'm just like, So it was very interesting.
Don't sweat the small stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Keith.
Oh man. Okay.
Kelly's awesome, dude. I told you.
All right, I got one. Yay, Keith.
Did it, Keith? Your turn. Keith's up.
No, I don't have a dream, but I do dream, but I never remember my dreams really.
Maybe you will tonight.
I will start. So. Yeah. So you were doing an interview with somebody, and I always hate it when people cut them off because I didn't get to hear the answer. Okay, when you had your NDE, you were when you were out for dinner, you had a hash cookie or something.
Had a bite, a tiny bite the size of my thumb.
Right, and you said you went to the other side, and you had made a statement. You said you asked, "Why are there Hitlers and Mansons?" And then the interviewer never let you finish that thought, and that's kind of what I want to know. Why are there? What did God tell you?
He's brought this up multiple times over the last.
Yeah, I want to know why there are people like that.
Wow. Yeah, this is. Thank you for asking, and this is kind of a bit of a like to prepare people for, I don't know, because the people might not like what I have to say, and this might be trigger warning.
I know what you're gonna say. I bet.
I just want to say that so this is what came to me, and it gave me peace, because just a little bit of backstory, and the whole story is in my book, Crisis is a Terrible Thing to Waste. Yep. But the nutshell is I had a near-death experience. I went to the other side, was surrounded and filled with so much bright, beautiful light, love, glory, beyond anything I could ever describe, in volumes and volumes and novels and novels. Nothing could describe how incredible it was. And once I acclimated and got stable there was some part of my brain that was like, wow, thank you so much for this. Okay, now that I feel so sufficiently safe and loved and filled up with so much light and love, now I want to understand darkness. Why the hell I immediately went to Hitler, and I immediately went to the Holocaust. Like, what's that all about? So what I saw, and this happened literally in the blink of an eye, kind of like symbols, like rabbit holes of like just going down but this is what I interpreted. What I saw was the people that were the most adversely affected by the Hitlers of the world and the Mansons of the world. So the victims, which I am super empathetic about. So I hope this doesn't sound like I'm cold, but what I saw was the moment that they died, they were unshackled and they were thrust into this kind of almost like a hospital on the other side, where they were tended to with so much light, and almost as if the degree to their pain is the degree to the beauty and the miracle and the love. So I saw like ribbons of light kind of immediately tending to these people. So yes, they went through hell on earth, and there's no excuse for any of it. I'm not condoning anything, but I'm looking at the bigger picture. The only way sometimes to make sense of atrocities is to scroll way back to get like millions of miles away from it and look at it from afar and see the bigger picture. So the people that were affected were tended to, and almost like equal and opposite grace was given to them versus the ones who did the harming. So I saw like the Hitlers and the Mansons and the ones who did this stuff. I saw this like gray, dark, like a pit, not like there really is a hell, because this is my mythology. I don't believe that there is a hell. Some people might not agree, but it feels like it's a space in consciousness that is the resonant place for what they had done. And I saw that they were the ones that were hardest to reach with the light. Like the light could almost not reach them because they're so enshrouded in guilt and shame, because on the other side, it doesn't happen immediately for everybody, but for most people, there's this incredible, stunning clarity and this reckoning of what we've done and who we've been. So to have harmed someone, much less multiple people, much less tortured them, the pain that comes back to them is so enormous that it's almost like, oh my God, will there ever be any repairing of them? So there's very special angels that have to tend to them very carefully, and it might take eons to have them ever come out of that. So basically what this showed me, and this happened so quickly, it was kind of like, is there justice? And the response was ultimately, yeah.
For sure.
There's redemption. There is, and it might not be in real time. We might not see it on Earth. We might not see, like, I mean, Hitler wasn't tortured in the way that he tortured others.
For sure.
So that could look like, well, where's the fairness there? But from this perspective, he gets more than what we could have ever done to him on this side. And it doesn't mean that we shouldn't do everything we can to make sure that there's never going to be another Hitler again, and that we don't want to do everything we can do to heal the people who have been harmed and the generations of people that still carry the PTSD in their genes, in their DNA. But what I saw and what gave me peace is that ultimately there is balance. Ultimately, there is this karmic retribution. So we don't have to take it on ourselves, to burden ourselves while we still have precious time here, to have a vendetta, live our lives in vengeance, to try to create that balance, because this universe is more intelligent than we are. It's bigger, and there is this ultimate justice system. So I'm probably saying 1/1,000,000th of what came to me in that little bouillon cube, but that's the basic essence of it.
Which honestly is so fascinating and enlightening. And the fact that it did come to you in just that like little amount of time is really, really, because we cover NDEs a lot, and that's a really incredible message to come back with.
Yeah, and I'm not a believer in hell either, and you can use this if you'd like, but this is what I tell, and I'm not saying anything bad about the Christians or anything, but when I get into this argument, I go, okay, so your God has unconditional love for you, right? Oh yeah, absolutely. I said, okay. So let's have a scenario where you have a son, you love your son very much, right? Oh, of course I do. All right, well, let's say your son hates you. He defies you through the rest of your life. And then someone comes to you at the end of his life and says, I got a button, 2 buttons. You can send him to hell, or you can send him to heaven. What are you going to do? Ooh. And they go, well, we're going to send him to heaven. And I said, well, if your God loves us more than we can love our kids, how could God send anybody to hell?
Right.
Oh my God. Okay. This is it. When I was 7 years old and I was going to Catholic school, it was the day they taught us about hell, and I was 7, and the nuns showed us images like in a movie of like fiery pokers and like these people running and screaming, and the message was, if you don't go to confession on Saturday, if you don't do Holy Communion on Sunday, if you don't do X, Y, and Z, you will be sent to the fires of hell to live for eternity.
Forever.
And my 7-year-old self was like, but what if we're in the car on the way to confession, but the car breaks down and we can't get there and we die, and then we would, and then the nun was like, as I said, you'll be sent to the river of hell.
Wow.
For eternity. And I ran out of the class sobbing. My mom was there waiting for me. I'm like, Mom, we're gonna come. And my mom said those exact things. Basically, she said, God loves you so much and all his children so much. Why would any loving parent send their child that they love so much to such a place? There is no place. And I was like,
for sure.
Nope, taken.
Right.
All right.
Right.
So I kept going to Catholic school, kept doing my stuff, but I was like, Right. And I agree. And it doesn't mean there isn't consequences. I think hell is a place we go to in our own consciousness when we hurt other people, because it's all in the looking glass.
For sure.
It's what we do to others, we do to ourselves, sometimes times a million. So yeah, it's not outside ourselves. And that's my perspective.
I'm so glad that, because I was a little bit worried that we weren't going to be able to touch on the NDE, because the dream thing just started getting crazy.
Oh my God. But it was interesting because, I mean, some people are like, wow, and their NDEs, they're like greeted by some loved ones. I didn't have any people. It was like
they're all different though.
Right.
And then, I mean, I might've been in, the NDE waiting room. I'm not sure. Maybe I didn't get to go the rest because I got pulled back.
Well, that's what I'm sitting here thinking though, while you're describing it, is like, that's crazy, because first off, you've never had an NDE before. So you're just going into this blindly, right? So this just happens to you. Don't have a choice. And then, but all that stuff, all that knowledge, you brought that back. And that's maybe 1/38 trillionth of the experience. So when you think about love and you think about compassion and light and darkness, you can't put it to words. That's what's so like insane about it, is you describe something that makes so much sense and it's so wonderful. And still like that, it will capture it, right? You talk about the feeling you had. So that's just incredible.
And I think there's that one connection with dreams, and I don't know how we're doing on time, but can I say this last?
Yes, of course.
Absolutely.
Of course.
But I'll say that just like your dream, Garrett, about this little chicken kind of a thing, there's like this energy is like you could potentially spend the rest of your life meditating on the strange energy that you got from this thing, like the playfulness, that like lightness, that sparkliness, that if you dedicated your life to embodying this, you might never get to the end of it. And you might just become this lighter, brighter, better version of yourself as a result. For me, having this NDE, it was very similar to the high vibrational dreams that I've had before. I feel like it will take my lifetime and maybe many other lifetimes to fully embody it. And it felt so stunning and I'm glad that I got to experience the light, experience the darkness, and then come back into the light and have the light wrap it all up. So I didn't feel like I just want the light and I don't want to look at any of the shadow. It's like, now that I've got the light, I have to look at the shadow. Wow, I need to know why bad things happen to good people. I have to know this stuff.
Right.
And I'm left feeling ultimately the energy is just that life is good. Life is so sweet. There is no death. There's nothing to fear. We can be unshackled. We can let go of our cod pieces. We can let ourselves, like, we can be this little chicken. We can be ourselves.
Put the breeze down.
Or like have it be a natural thing that emits from us when we are in that high vibe. It gave you like a compass. Okay.
Yeah. Man, that is
absolutely. Well, Kelly, thank you so much for being on the night.
Wait. Last thing. Okay. Is that, hey, one thing I'm really proud about with Life After Life, and actually this is Keith's wonderful idea, is that we've created this really like tight-knit group of people and guests. Like, I'm really proud of all the guests we have. I mean, Kelly's on here tonight. Yeah. So if you don't mind, hey, maybe in the future you can come back on. We can dig a little deeper on these things.
Oh yeah, please.
Would you be okay with that?
We just touched the iceberg.
So cool. You guys are so cool.
Okay.
I've enjoyed every second
Perfect.
of being with you, starting with the T-Bird and the fun. Daddy takes the T-Bird away. I will come back anytime. You guys are so awesome. And
thank you so much.
Thank you for going through so many different hoops and sticking with it. And we got to finally do this.
We were going to make this happen.
Such amazing.
We were going to make this happen.
We are so appreciative. Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you very much.
Sullivan, Walden, thank you so much.
You guys rock. Thank you. Sweet dreams, you guys.
All right.
Let's stay in contact and let's get you on again for sure.
Sounds like it's a done deal.
Good night, Dr. Dream.
Good night.
Mwah. Bye, you guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Freaking awesome.
I can figure out how to do
Dude, she was remarkable.
That was awesome.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, and you guys, Drew Beeson is going to be on Jimmy Church
big time
tonight.
Dude.
So, and he's already on.
Oh no, yeah, he was on earlier.
So I might call up and mess with him.
Yeah,
but,
do it.
But anyway, so if you get a chance, catch Drew
Beeson. He was checking
Beeson.
on you. I don't know if you saw.
I saw him.
Okay.
He's the Zodiac
all
and
doing so well.
the DB Cooper expert. But
hey, we're in good company, man. All of our guests are doing well. It's just fantastic.
That was fun.
Kelly was incredible. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that was really fun.
Awesome, dude.
All right, guys, we're gonna have the AI person on.
I can't
next
wait.
week.
That's gonna be incredible.
Yes. Abigail Cole. God, I'm so embarrassed.
No,
Abigail something.
Hey,
but she's going to be on next week, and we're going to talk about AI again. And then we'll get off this AI kick. But I'm just right now, I'm finding it so fascinating. And it just seems like even in the last few weeks, it's like just gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
We have no idea.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys, we love you. We'll see you. Good night. Thank you for coming.
See ya.